Hello, people of the internet. Ian Altosaar, the Freedom Astrologer, once again here, and I'm recording, I would say, one of the most important videos that I've recorded in my, I guess, lifetime, but also during the history of this particular channel as well. And this is going to be pretty interesting, pretty important, at least in my view. And hopefully you will get something out of it and you will enjoy it. And I will start to kind of get into this theme, but I want to preface this video really for those of you who kind of don't know me, who haven't seen my work, who haven't seen my videos, who really don't know any background kind of things that I've done and who I am and how I approach, life, how I approach spirituality, how I approach, I think, a lot of, life in general. So I used to be a very kind of very left brain, very logical, only that type of person, only facts, only logic. And after and a lot of my families have been scientists, so there's a lot of scientific background in my family, so there's always been this critical thinking, kind of asking questions, learning about things on a deep way or in a deep way, and then really being critical about things that are happen and always looking for proof and how things are and how can we prove that things are this and kind of like this very scientific mindset and approach has been very prevalent in my life and in my early experiences. So but having said that, during my 20s I had a bit of a spiritual awakening, and a lot of my kind of let's say gifts, things opened up in a lot of ways. Let's say the right sphere of the brain opened up a lot more, and I was kind of thrown into this very interesting world of spirituality and other realities and energies and auras and a lot of stuff around that and these types. And I started having very prophetic dreams, and by prophetic I mean dreams that kind of told the future and showed me the future and what things are going to be, sometimes 1 week ahead, sometimes 2 days ahead, maybe sometimes even 4 or 6 months ahead or a year ahead. And things started really moving rapidly and quickly in those areas as well. And as you can imagine, as a left brain kind of person, you have that epiphany or opening, you're kind of doubting it, you're kind of like, what is this, what is happening, because there seems to be no logical proof. But there are people who I do recommend, who kind of have their feet into both in both worlds. One is very one of those people is Barbara Ann Brennan, and I think she has really kind of brought that scientific approach into spirituality and those other realms of existence and healing practices. And I do recommend reading her books a lot, reading them myself, and or at least I'm reading one of them myself right now currently. So I do recommend if you're into that kind of approach. And so basically looking for also started looking for proof in a lot of those kind of things that started happening to me and kind of what I started seeing in realities, because this was quite new. But then I started getting back memories when I was a kid, when I started having these kind of experiences as well, but I shut them down. Quite a lot of you can kind of relate to that. You see something that is not natural or normal, normal in the kind of our modern world, and then the adults aren't usually very receptive to that. And then you kind of to belong into your family, you need to belong into the space, into society, in the human society, you start to suppress these matters, suppress these gifts, suppress these powers, we can say as well, and you kind of put them aside. But anyway, long story short, I started really digging deep and looking for proof and looking for understanding of these realms and reality as well. And this is what this channel is a lot about, and kind of it's a lot about also me sharing these kind of things that I've learned, that I've kind of used in my own life, in my own practices, and when I work with people. And not only then, but in my day-to-day life as well. So it's a mixture. The long story short is it's a mixture of both worlds of this kind of like scientific proof kind of world, logical world, and the spiritual world as well. And this kind of starts to bring me to the next, or to the main topic of this video, which is actually a vision that I was shown a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, 4 or 5 days ago. I was shown this very, very interesting vision, and I was in inquiry, should I be sharing this with the people? And now I got a lot of answers to share this, because it seems a lot of people are ready to receive it and kind of would be served by it. Now, before I had received this vision, I want to really share this part as well, because I was in deep inquiry. I was asking a lot of big questions, and I was, because the times are quite interesting, not to say tough, quite difficult are the times right now. There's a lot of restrictions, a lot of rules, a lot of extremism, one side against the other side. Things are kind of haywire as I'm recording this. This is 2021 November, one of the most intense times of recent human history. And we're kind of shifting through it, and we're kind of doing our best to kind of understand what is going on and what should we do about all of these matters. Now, having said all that, I was in inquiry, and I was asking, my kind of, again, this is where some of you from the left brain kind of approach might start to like, what is he talking about? But asking my kind of spiritual guides, or the entities and the spiritual guides and the energies that are here in this lifetime to help me and guide me, started asking them a lot of questions about how should we, or what is the information that would serve humans right now, and what is the kind of knowledge, wisdom, information that would serve humans, and what do they need to know right now, as of now. Now, I started asking this question approximately around 3 months ago, and I was asking it day when I was waking up. I was asking that question. I was asking that question when I was going to bed, before bed, and 3 months, some clarity came regarding some matters that I will be doing videos on later. But now, again, 3 months later, imagine that timeline, and you can imagine how much and how long it sometimes takes to kind of see and kind of be able to see these visions, how long it takes for that. And just 4 or 5 days ago, I was literally, now we're getting into the vision type part of the video. I was taking into a very vivid, a very lucid dream, where I was aware that I was taking into another reality, almost like another dimensional reality, or future reality, if you will. And in that reality, I was shown a lot of things, and this is one of the reasons why I brought this image with me. This image was one image that I was really, one of the images that I was able to found on the internet today in our modern times, that kind of resembled some of the things that I was shown in that vision. Now, let's get back to the beginning of the vision. So I was taking into that future reality of Earth, and I was able to kind of, because if you had ever had this kind of interaction, or have been in other realities and realms during sometimes you can say sleep, but it's just another way of being for me. And if you've been in these realities and have been able to explore some of these realities, you know that you can actually go quite quickly, and you can, will or kind of desire your way through these realities and explore if it's allowed and if it's shown to you. And in this vision, in this state, in this place, the first thing I was shown and I noticed was there was a dome around our Earth. And this dome wasn't anything bad. It wasn't anything, to control us. It was a very kind of specific dome to be put there to control our climate. And the next part is the climate part. The climate had or will be changed quite dramatically. And the climate was one of warmth. It was one of kind of not too warm, not too cold. If you've ever been to kind of southern Europe or the Mediterranean, it was a very kind of that type of climate. Warm, cool, breeze, very, very pleasant, very enjoyable climate. Again, not too cold, not too hot, just almost like the perfect amount of weather, if you want to put it that way. So immediately when I was taken into that was the dome, and the weather was kind of like that first things I really grasped, and they were really pleasant ones. And which takes me to the kind of like the next part, which is what I started noticing quite quickly as well, was the vibration of the place, vibration of this new Earth. And the vibration of this new Earth was very much peaceful. It was very calm. It was very peaceful. It was almost like there was. I shared this vision with one of my closest and dearest friends, and the words I used to express this was, it was like the amount of control that is put up right now against us or for us, take your pick, it was lost, or it was gone totally. There was no control. There was openness to explore. There was openness to curiosity. It was very kind of like a calm, peaceful way of being in that space. There was no competition, no kind of competing with one another, or wanting to get ahead, or wanting to have power or control over all the wars. I didn't see any of these matters. These were all gone. And it was quite of especially when the weather hit me, it was very pleasant. But again, when I really got into the vibration side of things, it was very much something, I think a lot of people are yearning for, and especially the more sensitive ones. But it was also a very, very enjoyable experience for me. I felt like the curiosity, the creative side could flourish in that place, and I think it's very important to kind of grasp that part of, because a lot of currently I don't think there's a lot of expansiveness or openness towards that creative side of our humanness. Now, as I move through this future reality of Earth, and I'm in that vibration, I'm in that kind of weather, it's very enjoyable. I started to kind of go into further because I was curious. I wanted to see more. And the next things I started to notice were mountains, a lot of mountains. And one of the reasons I picked this image to kind of illustrate what I was shown was this, because this is quite a accurate image. The only thing that is missing from this image is also the oceans, the sea. And there was a lot more ocean, there was a lot more mountains, and the constructions were very, very similar to what you're seeing on this image. I think my mouse is, it's okay. Basically very, very similar to what you're seeing on this image. Very kind of white, beige, and all of the constructions were mostly dome-like, like on this image. But the difference between these images is the kind of bigger constructions were, in one place, and kind of like the smaller communities the focus was on smaller communities and smaller kind of constructions that were around or further away from these bigger constructions or buildings, which mostly were white, and the more what seemed like housing were beige and kind of domey and smaller than on this image. And it was very much, there were less, it seemed like less humans on the planet Earth, and it kind of was how do I put this now? The focus was on smaller communities, and even when I went through these kind of let's say constructions and I saw this, there wasn't any kind of aggression there. It was very, very much a peaceful kind of being vibration that I got from that. And it wasn't anything like very passive, or it wasn't passive. It was just a very, very, if we want to put words on it, like lower, higher, we can say higher in this case. So lots of water, more water, focus on smaller communities, very peaceful vibration, white and beige kind of constructions. I think mountains, a lot more mountains, and it's very hard, for me to sit here and say, fewer people, but in that vision that I was shown, it seemed like there were, at least that part that I saw was less densely populated. So it doesn't mean that, if you go into like a little bit more into the negative side of things, that a lot of people will leave this planet Earth. It was more like I was shown that space. So it is very hard for me to say if there aren't any other bigger spaces where there are more densely populated spaces, but especially in that space where I was taken into, it was less densely populated and kind of like smaller communities around these bigger constructions. And this is what I was shown, guys, and I hope this kind of like, if you want to talk about a little bit about timelines, because for me, like the bigger the vision usually has been, in my experience that I've been shown during my past visions, let's say, the bigger the vision, meaning if it's more to do with society, a bigger picture, human society, the longer the timeline is. So I've been shown things that happen in human society approximately 4 to 6 months to a year ahead, and then kind of like then a year ahead I'm like, oh, this happened. But I haven't really been shown this big of a vision before, because it's a total shift, total change of human society, human way of being, human Earth, or Earth, the planet Earth. So my timeline for this is kind of, so take this timeline with a grain of salt, obviously, but my timeline for this is kind of like 10 to 15 plus years, definitely for now. And I'm asking a lot of questions about this anyway, to be shown more, to be able to see more, and so hopefully I can kind of get that timeline more precise as well. But guys, hopefully this video kind of brings some sort of hope, optimism during very difficult times. I really, I also want to say, kind of add to it, that this isn't, a call to kind of stay in passivity or be in passivity, to not create anything, to not make anything, to create businesses or whatever. This is actually just to be able to get through these kind of difficult times, and kind of to also show you that this is actually what we're headed towards, and this is possible in our lifetimes, and we need to just figure out how to get there and move towards it, and create things and make things and work towards that way of being here on earth. And I think a lot of people really, because even personally, I have to share this. Even personally, I was in a space of like, can this even be possible? Because a lot of some or a few visionaries have kind of been able to, I think, see this space or see these images already, and they kind of brought this or somewhat similar visions to humans. And at first I was like even doubting, is it my mind that is creating this? And I was asking a lot of questions to kind of confirm these this is where my logical mind came to play as well. But this is kind of like to show what is possible and what we can actually create on planet Earth, and how to get through these more difficult and denser times to still have that hope and to work towards that. Because I was personally getting kind of like iffy. Can we even do this? Can we even move towards it? But I kept asking, and literally, guys, this is what I was shown. This is what the message I'm bringing. This is this is what I have for you, and I hope it helps you similarly that it helped me, and kind of like that the seeing and experiencing what I saw and experienced there kind of helped me through those more difficult feelings, maybe fears that I had for our direction as a society, as humans. So hope it does similarly or helps you similarly as well. Leave a comment, because this is a bit of a different video. Leave a comment, leave something that you didn't get or did get from this. What do you think about this? Is this something that helps you? I might share more of these with you in the future. Thank you for watching, listening, and I will definitely see you again soon in the next videos.